Okay. Okay, hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. It has been a while since we last played this, but I decided to celebrate the momentous occasion of Ace Attorney Investigations coming next week. I decided, let's finish this game once and for all. So for the next week, so for the rest of the month up until we finally get it done, I will most likely be playing this game this trilogy specifically, but I may do other small things here and there alongside it. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get down to the final part of Turnabout Big Top. Let's begin. December 30th, 9:41 a.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. Good morning, Max. Oh, yeah. Good morning, sweeties. You don't seem like your usual sparkling self today. I'm always like this before I go in front of an audience. I'm working up to it. Don't get nervous, Maxie. Here, have a glass of milk. Regina! How fabulous! My sweetie pie princess! You came to watch my performance today. Of course I did. Mo told me that I should come and watch this. Mo said that? So, what kind of performance will you put on today? Let me guess, you'll fly at the end? It's not that kind of show. Isn't that right, my sweeties? Huh? I think my sweetie pie princess doesn't, Yeah, she doesn't seem to realize what's going on. Or even where she is. Well, Max, it looks like it's time to raise the curtain. I'll see you later. Today I'm just a member of the audience. Fabulous! Enjoy yourself out there. Good luck, Max. You're the best. Regina's different, don't you think, Nick? Top of the morning to ya! Everybody, let's get ready to get stuck in legal limbo. How low can you go? Mo. Top of the morning to ya, Governor. Top of the morning. That's the ticket. Attack of the day starts with energy in the morning. The early bird gets the worm, but then again, worms like higher brain function. Here, Max, I brought you a present. Have some milk. Oh my, thanks. So how are you today, Wright? Well, I've got the feeling that today I'm going to face off against the real culprit. You mean Acro? Huh? You think he did it? Be careful. He's used to putting his life on the line. Literally. He's got guts to spare. If all I've got to worry about is how thin the tightrope is, I'm used to it already. It just means that I won't be able to press him like I can other witnesses. What are you going to do then, Nick? I guess today we'll just have to do without our usual psychological warfare. Today we rely on evidence. It's the only way we'll get past Acro and to the truth. Right, but it's gonna be tough. Anyways, I want you to make sure that Regina sees it all today. It's important. Then she'll finally have to deal with the reality of what happened to her father. You want us to make sure Regina watches? Yes. That's why I brought her here to court today. What's that supposed to mean? She needs to know that when people die, they don't just become stars. I may be an old-fashioned clown, but I don't believe in people becoming stars. Pretty much, he wants her to see the reality of the situation, no matter how she reacts to it. Are you guys ready? December 30th, 10 a.m., District Court, Courtroom Number 2. Court is now in session for the trial of Maximilian Galactica. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is ready, Your Honor. Very well. Miss Von Korma, you may proceed with your case. The prosecution would like to revise its previous theory of events. What's the meaning of this? A new witness, or shall I say, a new eyewitness. One that saw Maximilian Galactica fly off from the scene of the crime. Order! Order! I had a feeling something like this would come up. Due to this revision, we are now prepared to explain how the defendant flew that night. An explanation the prosecution will present if the need so arises. In fact, my detectives stayed up all night creating a mock-up of the scene, on my orders. Poor gumshoe. Oh, I'm just trying to do something real quick here. Give me a second. There we go. Very well. Please call your witness to the stand. Hold on a second. Let me fix my stuff real quick because it's getting all kind of messed up here. Time to get to work. Or shall I say, time to walk the courtroom tightrope. Name and occupation. Ken Tingling, but everyone calls me Afro. I'm employed as an acrobat at the Berry Bib Circus. Where were you the night of the crime? I was in my room that night. If you look at the map, you will see the witness's room is near the crime scene. Wait, that's Karma talking. Hold on. If you look at the map, you will see the witness's room is near the crime scene. My room is on the 3rd floor. The crime scene is below my window. The night of the crime, the witness saw something quite shocking. Would you tell us what you witnessed? Okay. Witness testimony. What I witnessed. It was just after 10 p.m., and I was resting in my bed. Around that time, I heard a large thump noise from outside the window. Alright. I saw someone flying right by my window. It was Max Galactica. I only saw him from behind, but that's who it looked like. To be honest, when I saw that, I thought I was dreaming. This witness's testimony matches up exactly with that of the clown. If that's the case, there is very little the prosecution need add. All that's left is to explain how the defendant disappeared into the sky that night. Before we get that far, I'd like to cross-examine the witness. A foolish choice by a foolish fool who wishes to feel the foolish sadness of a sad fool. A man must know the proper timing for things, Mr. Wright, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Just like your old friend, Mr. Miles Edgeworth, did. Mr. Wright, do you have a problem with the witness's testimony? In the words of Miss Von Karma, may I quote yesterday's proceedings? There's no way that actually happened. Very well. You may proceed with your cross-examination. Cross-examination. What I witnessed. That's irrelevant. We already know what that noise is, so we don't really need to know that. The light in your room was turned off then, right? That's true. I was going to bed after all. So with the lights off, you were still able to clearly see a human fly by your window? The safety lights lit things up enough for me to see. But honestly, there was only enough light for me to see the silhouette outside my window. It was the person's back, so I couldn't see the white roses on the front. Did you see any other symbols? I clearly saw the silk hat as well as the cloak wrapped around his body. I'm convinced that the person I saw was Max Galactica. The more I press him, the less results I seem to get. But maybe there was something fishy with his latest bit of testimony. There is a contradiction, actually. There is a huge contradiction with the testimony that was just given. If there's a contradiction, then prove it with evidence. She's right. Let's see some evidence. Do you have any evidence to support your claim of a contradiction? He talked about how he had the silk hat on him. But if you recall, it was found at the crime scene. So how could he have seen the hat? You claim to have seen the exact... Do you stand by that? What do you mean? The silk hat. What about the silk hat? I saw it on Max's head as he flew by my window. Well, you should have tried looking down out of your window that night. That would have been quite difficult considering the state that I'm in. Just looking outside the window was a tough enough challenge for me. That's a shame, because you would have noticed the silk hat found on the scene. That's the ringmaster's hat, right? Afraid not. No matter how you look at it, this is Max's silk hat. Where are you going with this, Mr. Wright? Are you saying that Max has 2 silk hats? No. This is handmade. This is a handmade, one-of-a-kind model made only for Maximilian Galactica. Which means, Zacro, that you've been fibbing on the stand. Order! Order! As always, it looks like someone just had to open their mouth before thinking. Are you okay, Nick? Well, I opened my big mouth and now I have to back it up. How about it, Mr. Wright? Wonder what caused this witness to commit perjury in this court today? The answer is simple. He is the real culprit. Your Honor, on this occasion, the defense accuses Acro himself. On this occasion? Accuses Acro? What in the world are you accusing him of? Obviously, we accuse him of the murder of Mr. Russell Berry. Mr. Wright, are you serious? Deadly serious, Your Honor. I think your trips to the surface have served you well. You seem to have learned how to try and grab at an audience's hearts and minds. Your Honor, don't allow yourself to be swayed by theatrics. Trying to wow the crowd with smoke and mirrors is the oldest bluff in the book. Really? If you don't believe me, just look at the witness. He's calm enough for it to almost be scary. He is staying rather calm and collected. Mr. Dingling, do you have any response to the defense's accusation? I don't really need to say a thing, do I? What do you mean? Everyone, take a good look at me. I can't even stand up on myself, let alone leave the lodging house. That's true. I understand that Mr. Wright is just trying to help his client. But to do this by accusing me of a murder of all things. See, even a sliver of common sense makes it clear the accusation is ludicrous. She's right, way to pick on the disabled, you heartless, cruel man. Phoenix is a poopy head. See that, Mr. Phoenix, right? If you're trying to drum up support from the peanut gallery, that's how you do it. I think that's enough of this little game. I've got a doctor's note to confirm that Acro is unable to stand under his own power. Maybe the defense is planning on making a claim to counter this as well? I can hear the defense now. Acro had an accomplice. What do you say about this, Mr. Wright? Did Acro have an accomplice? We gotta think about this for a moment. I'm gonna go ahead and save here just in case. But if I don't think we did. Now then, this must be when we get to hear the name of the mystery accomplice. Not this time, Von Karma. What? You're not going to sucker me into this one. What are you blabbering about, Mr. Wright? There was no accomplice. Acro planned and committed this murder all by himself. Order! What are you getting at? Way to keep them on their toes, Nick. Now I'm going to have to prove how it all fits together. I have to show how Acro murdered Russell Berry. Can you do it, Nick? Can you really do that? I know what I can't do. I can't stop now. If I stop attacking, I'm doomed. Alright, then let's do it! Mr. Phoenix Wright. If this witness is the killer, then his eyewitness account is all lies, right? Mr. Wright, I'd like you to clear something up for me. When the crime was committed, exactly where was Mr. Dingling? That's very easy. He was in his room. He was obviously here the entire time. That's Acro's room? Pretty simple, eh? Acro wasn't able to leave the lodging house by himself. In that case, there can be only one correct answer. Acro didn't leave his room to kill the ringmaster. What? Are you nuts? What say you, Mr. Dingling? It's an interesting theory. That's it? Considering that what you proposed is impossible, yes, that's it. Mr. Wright. Yes, Your Honor. As the witness has stated, your assertion is impossible. As he is in a wheelchair, there is no way he could go to the scene or be the killer. You've got a point. It seems you've forgotten once again, Mr. Phoenix Wright. The defendant was clearly spotted at the scene of the crime. That's true. Most said that he saw Max, didn't he? But Maya, it's still impossible for humans to fly. Do you mind if I ask a question, Mr. Wright? What is it? I understand some of your logic. However, how do you think that I killed him? If I can't leave my room, I obviously couldn't wear Max's costume. How did he do it? That's the next course of this legal buffet. Be careful, Nick. If you mess up here... She's right. I can't mess up here. I've gotta give this one some serious thought. I'm sure that Acro killed the ringmaster, and he did it while he was in his room. No doubt about it. I'm to enlighten us as to how Mr. Dingley committed the crime, Mr. Wright. Yeah, I'm thinking about this long and hard, man. But the answer is actually very simple. I'm going to present some evidence. So what did Mr. Dingley do to commit the crime of murder against Russell Berry? If you guys recall correctly, we got this bust right here. This will be the closest thing to Max that you will ever see. So... What's that? A picture? It is indeed. The problem is with what is shown in the picture. I just noticed my thing acting up a little bit there. The bust? It's quite a large bust, and because it is life-sized, it is also very, very heavy. Heavy? Heavy enough to guarantee a certain death. Especially if it was dropped from a third-story window. Ah! See, this is how Acro was able to kill the ringmaster. With the force of gravity and Maximilian Galactica's ample bust. Order! Order! So you're saying the bust fell onto the ringmaster? Even if you were stuck in a wheelchair, it would be incredibly easy to commit. How could you possibly wheel a wheelchair into something so heavy? It's impossible! Well, Acro is an acrobat. He should have more than enough upper body strength to carry something like the bust. Mr. Dingley, how do you respond to these charges? Well, Acro's at a loss for words. He should be. He knows that I'm getting close to the truth. Well, Acro. You can— OW! I'd watch what I say if I were you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? Your Honor, the physical health of the witness is material to this case. I demand that we get a proper testimony from the witness himself. Testimony, you say? On Karma. She's just using this testimony as a route to stall for time. There is absolutely no need for such testimony. The defense has its version of the murder. The prosecution has the right to respond. The defense's objection is overruled. Why can't he see things my way once in a while? Mr. Dingling, I'm sorry, but we need you to testify about your physical condition. If you have any doubts about your ability to testify, we can request expert testimony. The witness will have no problems. However, let's all be respectful towards him. Thank you. Ah, that woman will sink to any low to win a case. Yeah, that's one karma for you. Witness testimony. Acro's physical state. I suppose I could have looked at something the size of that bus. I have a strong upper body from working as an acrobat, and only my legs were injured. However, lifting the bus and looking out the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. That makes it impossible for me to have known the location of the ringmaster's head. Thus, it would be unrealistic for me to drop the bust on him, don't you think? I have no doubts in regards to this witness's testimony. It was impossible for him to lift the bust and stick himself out far enough to look. Not to mention that he could not have known the location of the ringmaster's head. A single false step would have led to even more severe injuries. That is a spelling error. That is a spelling error right there with lead or lead. Because in this situation it should have been spelled L-E-D, not L-E-A-D. Sorry, bookworm. Moving on. That's what I was thinking. What's your opinion on the matter, Mr. Wright? I'd still like to proceed with my cross-examination. He's simply stalling. It's shameful, really. I can't let it get to me. I've got to focus. Ironically enough, we actually have something to counter him on. Yeah, that was kind of easy, alright? So here's why, okay? Look at the crime photo here, okay? You could have used this or the box itself to do something. But here's the gist of it. What he could have done was he heard the footsteps coming, right? And then once he heard the footsteps stop, he could have dropped the bust right onto this once he heard the footsteps stop and heard, I guess heard something there and revolving around that box, he could have dropped the bust on this man and killed him from that. Acro, you didn't really need to lean out of the window, did you? What are you driving at, Mr. Wright? You already knew ahead of time where the ringmaster's head was going to be. Quite precisely, I may add. Your silly hitting at things is pointless, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough stalling. How about you show us some evidence? But I did such a good job hinting. Yes. Hurry up and explain things, Mr. Wright. Maybe you should take a look at this. The key point here is the wooden box. The same wooden box that the victim was found hunched over? The same. The question is, who placed the wooden box here? Who? When Ben and company saw the ringmaster, they didn't see him holding the box. Which means that this wooden box was already placed at the scene of the crime. I have to admit that your theory makes a lot of sense. The moment that the bus came falling down was exactly the same moment that the ringmaster lifted up this wooden box. Which means that the answers to all these questions is now crystal clear. You mean if the bus were to fall upon the point marked on the marked out on the wooden out by the wooden box, there would be no way that it could miss the head of the victim. No! Order! This is unbelievable! Finally, some of these loose ends are starting to tie themselves up. Now I just gotta keep going. And there's only one way to go from here. Forward. So the next question I have is, who placed that wooden box at the scene? It was Mr. Dingling, of course. He connected it to a rope, and then all he had to do was lower it down. Ow! Allow me to whip some sense into you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Ow! 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 The ringmaster's head could have been anywhere when he lifted the box. That's why the box was so specially made. Specially made? Indeed. It had the most peculiar features. The contents of the box. Do you recall what was inside the wooden box? There was only a small bottle of pepper, wasn't there? Get on with it. Well, what's the matter, cat? Got your tongue? I don't see any relationship between the location of his head and the box's contents. I think I might have outthought myself. No, Nick, you didn't think enough. So, funnily enough, you can actually do that right there. Hello, some MS Sim addict. How you doing tonight? Just here to say hi. Well, hello. Welcome to the stream. Hope you're having a good day, evening, good morning, afternoon, evening, night, whatever time of day you're at. Hope it's been a good one. Doing good? That's good to hear. Cheers to that. It's nighttime for me, lol. Hey, that's why I got my bases covered. Can't fault me for that. The box has a remarkable weight. Weight? According to the board record, it weighs 20 pounds. Just to lift up this wooden box would have required... Oh, I see. One would have to squat down and lift it up with their body. That's exactly what I was trying to point out. I messed up the first time, but I got my head on straight. The box is also very large. The box is also has carrying handles on either side, doesn't it? That is correct. To lift up the box, you'd have to squat down. Which means that no matter who you are, your head would be in approximately the same place. Fool! Are you calling me the fool or yourself the fool? Von Karma? Does he even bother to listen to me anymore? I've heard what you've had to say. I must admit, I'm shocked at your imaginative skills. Hold on a second. Sorry about that. Family member was coming in. Did you do it? Did you place this wooden box in the plaza? Mr. Wright may have a vivid imagination, but I could never have done what he's proposing. What? Mr. Wright, do you recall the original location of Max's bust? Of course I remember. It was on top of the table in the cafeteria. And what happened to it? I'd like you to remember one important fact, Mr. Wright. I could not possibly leave the lodging house by myself. Ah, that means... You understand what I mean, don't you? I may very well have been able to drop the bus from my room. However, how would I have gotten the bus from the cafeteria to my room? That answer is actually very easy. You see, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Explain that! Don't forget, you said there was no accomplice. Ah! Tell us exactly how the witness would have carried the bus from the cafeteria. Yup, we definitely have a problem here. But this is no place to get perplexed. I've got to get my wits about me and prove how things happened once and for all. Alright, Mr. Wright, let's hear your explanation. How did the witness get the bus from the cafeteria back to his room? Money the monkey! A monkey? Everyone knows Money. He loves shiny objects of any size. Oh, like when he stole the ventriloquist's ring. So, are you saying the witness had a monkey steal the bust? Of course he didn't order the monkey to steal it. The monkey stole it on his own, and then brought it back home. Home? Money lives in Acro's room. Acro's room?
Objection!
But the bus was bronze, wasn't it? Bronze isn't all that shiny.
Objection!
Maybe you should put the whip down sometimes and read the court record. Damn, he just got her on that one, didn't he? My, those are some very nice cards he's holding. Yes, and they are made of platinum, which is very shiny. God! Acro! Money is a strong monkey, right? It'd be easy for him to bring the bus back to your room. If he wasn't able to handle that himself, I'd be on the market for a new roommate. Order! Order! I said order! Miss Von Karma! Where is the bust in question at this moment? I don't know. We're searching for it as we speak. This is a rather strange turn of events. But let's say that the monkey had not stolen the bust. What would have happened then? Well, in that event, something else would have been used as the murder weapon. Wait! Then you mean this bust was the murder weapon purely by accident? It's possible. Maybe Acro saw Money's mountain of stolen goods and thought to use one of them. Anyways, I think we've more than proven one critical fact. Namely, that it was entirely possible that Acro was the murderer. Moron! Mr. Wright's argument was so circular, I'm still a bit dizzy. However, his argument does hold water. There's no denying that. Ow! Don't seem so flamboozled, especially by this fraud of an attorney. Fraud? You've forgotten the absolute most important thing, Mr. Phoenix Wright. And what is that? You should know. You forgot that your fraud of a magical client was spotted at the scene of the crime. Ah! There is no reason to doubt the clown's testimony. That's true. How do you respond to that, Mr. Wright? Nick! Don't let her beat you down. I won't. This is my chance to turn this trial around. When the murder occurred, there were two people at the scene of the crime. One was the victim, Russell Berry, and the other was the murderer himself. Answer this and only this, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Who was the murderer the clown saw? It's actually very simple.
Take that!
He saw Max's... Ow! I asked who was the other person Mo saw on the scene. That evidence has nothing to do with the question.
Objection!
Au contraire, mon frère... Mon frère. Mon frère. It does indeed have something to do with the question. Mo said that he saw Max's silhouette. But he did not actually see the man himself. It wasn't a human being he saw. Oh, shit. How is that possible? It's simple, really. What Mo actually saw that night was Max's bust.
Objection!
What are you talking about? Have you tried using your brain at all in this case? The silhouette he saw was wearing a cloak.
Objection!
There's no reason why you couldn't attach a cloak to the bust. It would be easy to hang one off the cards in the bust's hand. Idiot! Who in their right mind would put a cloak on a bust? It doesn't matter who put it on the bust. Just wait a minute now, Mr. Wright. Hey, Daniel Barry, how you doing tonight? Who put the cloak on the bust? That question is of the utmost importance to this case, don't you agree? God, you caught me. Well, let's have it, Mr. Wright. Who put the cloak on the bust? Yeah, you guys are about to be surprised with this answer. Because out of everybody, it was actually Russell Berry. And you guys are about to find out why. Fool! Him? You are saying it was the victim himself? Russell Berry? That's what I'm saying. The victim himself placed the cloak on the bus? Placed the cloak isn't really the right way of putting it. And what would be the right way of putting it, Mr. Wright? Explain yourself! Nick, do you really have a handle on all of this? I'm fine, Maya. I'm finally putting all the pieces together. There's really only one picture I could paint anyways. Alright. So you want to know what really happened that night? Let's step back in time. Acro used a rope to lower the wooden box onto the scene. Then he attached that rope to the bus and dangled the bus out of his bedroom window directly above the wooden box. At the same time, the ringmaster told Max to wait in his room and went to the scene. Of course, at the time, the ringmaster was wearing Max's costume. Perhaps he didn't want anyone to recognize him that night. But just as he feared, he was spotted at the entrance of the lodging house by none other than a ventriloquist and his puppet, Ben and Trillo. When the ringmaster arrived at the scene, he bent over to lift the wooden box. And that's when Acro took his chances took his chance and released the rope. Now this is when the magic happens. At the very instant that the bust hit the victim, you wait just a second there, Mr. Phoenix Wright. As much as you try, as much as you scheme, this just isn't true. It can't be! It's still a little early to be getting so upset, Miss Von Karma. This circus isn't over yet. What? The impact of the bust on the victim threw the cloak up, which snagged onto the bust. That impact also caused the sound a certain witness heard, prompting him to take a look. That witness was, of course, Lawrence Moe Curls, the clown. When Moe looked out his window, the cloak had already snagged onto the bust. Now, having completed the crime, Acro naturally went about pulling up the murder weapon. Of course, he had no idea that Moe saw the bust being raised with the cloak dangling on it. Primarily because in his wheelchair, he couldn't see out of his window. So he just kept pulling the bust up. And that is how the magical murderer disappearing into the sky came to be. So you see, the only person who could have pulled this off is the one person who was able to drop the murder weapon from above the crime scene. Acro! It could only have been you! Acro's been playing mind games with all of us. He sure has. But he has come to the end of his rope now. So, what now? You've graced us with a rather long-winded tale. But do you have any evidence to prove that your fairy tale is true? Evidence? In this court, only two things matter. The power of evidence and the power of my whip. Don't forget the power of my gavel as well. Mr. Wright, the prosecution brings up a good point. Can we see some evidence? Nick, they say they want some evidence. I just explained how there can only be one possible murder method. But there's still something unusual about Moe's eyewitness account. Unusual? A contradiction, actually. Okay then, use that and get out of this jam. Answer no talking amongst yourselves. Proceed, Mr. Wright. Present some evidence to the court that backs your claims. I want hard proof that you have unraveled the trick to this magic case. Quiet then. Everybody was silent that whole time, man. That's kind of funny. Oh yeah, it was I accidentally pressed the wrong one. I was doing the Grand Prix photo and I meant to do this one. The problem is Max's 3 symbols. You know, the silk hat, the cloak, and the white roses. Those symbols were a problem numerous times during yesterday's proceedings. Yesterday, there were two contradictions in Mo's testimony. The silk hat was one, the white roses were the other. But the theory I just presented explains all of those contradictions. You fool! Do you ever shut up? At the scene of the crime. However, remember what Mose said yesterday. He testified that the criminal he saw fleeing the scene was wearing a silk hat. There's only one explanation for that. The silk hat that Mose saw was actually the bust's. Makes sense if you look at it that way. And he did see the silk hat. And you didn't see the silk hat, well, sort of.
Objection!
Fine, you've got one. But what about the other contradiction? The other contradiction? Remember what that ventriloquist said in court. He said that he witnessed white roses on Max's chest that night. But the clown's testimony doesn't match. The clown said that there were no white roses. I'd like you to try and explain that one away. Can you do it, Nick? Of course, I can explain all of it. What was that? Please recall the instant when the cloak snagged onto the bus. If the cloak snagged onto the bus, then what happened to the white roses? Do you get it yet? If the cloak got snagged onto the front of the bus, it means that the white roses would end up on the back of the bus. Ah! Which explains why Mo didn't see them. The white roses were not visible because they were on the back side of the bus. Order! Order! This is quite a shocking state of affairs. Mr. Wright's theory still sounds a bit absurd to me. However, let's just keep going down this road for a while and see where it leads. Let's do this, Nick. Then maybe Von Karma will finally throw in the towel. Well, so much for that theory. Mr. Wright, do you mind? What is it? You took the time to research our circus, didn't you? Well, yes, I did. Is there something making you think that I didn't? If you did, then maybe you'll understand why I think you're off track. Why is that? Motive. This witness feels an incredible debt of gratitude towards the ringmaster. Anyone with any relation to the circus is well aware of this. Thus, there is absolutely no way someone like this would kill the ringmaster. Your Honor, I'd like you to hear Acro's story. Learn about his relationship with the ringmaster and his life up until now. What do we do? There's no doubting that Acro deeply respected the ringmaster. Acro's motive. It seems that this case isn't over yet. Very well, however, I feel this is a good place to take a break. I will listen to the rest of Mr. Dingling's testimony after the recess. This court will now take a 10-minute recess. To be continued. Alright, we got the first half done. Now it's time for the second half. December 30th, 2:17 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby number 5. I can't believe it. Acro? It's pretty shocking, isn't it? It definitely is. And to think he was always the most straightforward of the group. Jeebus, and am I that hated? Ahem. Acro tried to pin the murder on you on purpose. He did? Psst, psst. but I'm nothing but a little old nobody, you know? But you're not, which is kind of the reason why. Hey! Hey, pal! You're gonna ignore me after I went all this trouble to bring you some evidence? Ah, Detective Gumshoe. Ah, forget it. I'm going home. This guy deserves to be guilty anyways. Now, Detective. I'm sorry. Look, why don't you relax a little? We've got some really tasty milk. How about a card trick, Detective? Well, if you insist. Now, about that evidence you mentioned, what is it? Here you go. Huh? This was yesterday in Acro's room. Yup, and I've included the forensic results. Take a look at it later. Won't Miss Von Karma be mad that you're doing this? That's why this is all a secret. Huh? Look, details are on a need-to-know basis, and we're not really allies or anything. But everything that's happened in court up until now has gone according to our plan. I don't know. Miss Von Karma didn't seem in control of things there just now. You'll figure it out eventually, pal. Yes. Final plans? Uh-huh. That reminds me. I've got a message from the prosecutor for you. Nothing is ever truly decided until the very end. That's it. And that's it for me too, pal. I'm out of here. What did he mean by that? The very end part? I'm not sure. It was all pretty cryptic to me. Oh, one more thing. Ah, don't scare me like that! It looks like there's a large care package from the circus for the defendant. What? For me? It's milk. The reception area looks like some kind of dairy. So hurry up and drink it all before it spoils. An entire dairy's worth of milk for me? Maybe he's not as hated after all. To a point. December 30th, 2:27 p.m. District Court, Courtroom number 2. Court is now back in session. Miss Von Karma, please continue from where you left off. I'd like to continue with Acro's testimony, starting with his relationship to the victim. I'd also like to get proof from the defense. Proof of what kind of motive Acro would have to commit this crime. Understood. Now, Mr. Dingling. Yes, Your Honor. Please proceed with your testimony. Finally, we get to the motive. Wait, Nick, are you okay? Just do me a favor and don't ask questions you don't want the answer to. Oh. Witness testimony about the ringmaster. When we were little, we were abandoned by our parents. That's when the ringmaster of the very big circus, Russell Berry, took us in. I became an acrobat at around 9 years old. I wanted to find a way to repay the ringmaster. That was my sole purpose in life. You're such a thoughtful young man. As you heard, the witness deeply respected the victim. I wonder how anyone could think that Acro would kill the man he held in such esteem. You are absolutely right. How could anyone think that, Mr. Wright? Which is why there's no real need for a cross-examination, is there? Actually, that's the question I'm trying to answer myself. Why would Acro kill the ringmaster? This might be my last chance to answer that question. This is where the fun begins. Because this is one of those rare times where you're actually... See, here's the thing. Literally none of that, well, some of it, while it is relevant to the case that people may think it is, it's not really necessary to question it. So, there's no need to cross-examine this witness. What's that? Why was the ringmaster murdered? There's no need to delve into that bit of testimony when I know the answer already. Mr. Wright, I'd like to ask you a question. Go ahead, Your Honor. I would just like to know. Can you provide an explanation as to why Acro would want the ringmaster dead? The answer is very, very simple. The answer is actually more simple than you realize. Because here's the thing. He never wanted the ringmaster dead. But he did want to kill one person. You'll see who it is in a moment. Nick? Yeah, I didn't even have to think about it. It was obvious from the start. Your Honor, the reason that Acro killed the ringmaster is something that can't be proven. What? That's because Acro had no reason to kill the ringmaster at all. Ow! Your foolish attempts to foolish like foolish fools is so foolhardily foolish. Did you forget? You made an accusation against this witness, did you not? I believe it was. This is the real killer of Russell Berry Ringmaster. If you want to jump to the end of things, then yes, that sounds about right. The end of things? Acro. You didn't plan to kill the ringmaster at all, did you? The ringmaster wasn't your target that night. What did you just say? I'm saying that the target of this witness's murderous plot was not the ringmaster. Because it was never his intention to kill Russell Berry to begin with. What? Order! Order! Bailiff, I don't care who it is. Smack anyone who's loud in the face. Twice if you must. Double sock those motherfuckers. Mr. Wright, what in the world are you trying to do to my court? Ow! Mr. Phoenix Wright, what in the world are you trying to do to this court? Are you attempting to imply that Acro was trying to kill someone else? As a matter of fact, yes. Regina Berry? This young girl is the ringmaster's daughter, correct? Acro, you were really aiming for her that night, weren't you?
Objection!
You don't need to answer that. It's a mean-spirited leading question.
Objection!
He could easily answer this question. If I'm wrong, all he has to say is you're wrong. That's it. That's it, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Enough! Mr. Wright, allow me to... Ow! The only thing allowed to interrupt me is death itself. Oh? And that goes for you too, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Show me evidence! Now! I want to know why Acro would want to kill Regina Berry. Yes, me too. I demand to see some proof. Present evidence that proves Acro was out to kill this young girl. This is where the scarf comes into play here. But we're not quite to that level yet. Because we have the note that he sent to her. She went to his room to feed him, to give him some breakfast, and he put the note in her pocket.
Take that!
Acro, you remember this, don't you? It's a piece of paper that we found inside the ringmaster's tailcoat. Inside the victim's tailcoat? Acro wrote this note. It's ironically entitled, "To the Murderer." Its purpose was to call someone to the plaza at 10 p.m. So you're saying that he called Russell Berry with that note? Yes, but there's just one little problem. Problems? Acro did indeed place this note into someone's pocket. However, that someone was not the ringmaster. You mean it wasn't for the... That's exactly what I mean. The person this note was intended for was none other than Regina Berry! Order! Mr. Wright! This little theory of yours. It's the truth, Your Honor. It isn't a theory. Simply put, Regina didn't think the note was meant for her. Which is why, the morning of the crime, she placed it on the cafeteria bulletin board. That's when her father, the ringmaster, saw the note? That's correct. The ringmaster ended up in that plaza instead of Regina. And then he was killed because of that mistake. Instead of Regina. That's incredible. Remember the testimony that Acro gave us earlier today. Lifting the bust and looking out of the window would have been impossible. There's no way I could have exerted that kind of force on my lower body. If I were to do that, I'd end up falling out of the window myself. Acro had no idea who it was that arrived in the plaza, because he couldn't look down out of his window to see who it actually was. I've got it! Acro thought it was Regina down in the plaza. And that's when he let the bust fly. Hey, Lick. Isn't Regina listening to all of this from the audience? She is. Unfortunately, it's only going to get harsher from here. I hope Regina can handle it. Acro wrote this note to Regina.
Objection!
Foolishly foolish fool, with foolishly foolish fool ideas. A foolishly... You've even made me sound like a foolhardy fool. Very well, Mr. Phoenix Wright. If you're so sure, then tell us about this line. I have conclusive evidence of what took place. Yes? What about that line? Well, if the note was meant for Regina Berry, it would mean that this note is declaring that Regina Berry is a murderer. You just don't get it, do you? What? What did you just say? The ringmaster knew what the note meant, which is why he went to the plaza, in place of his lovely daughter. Hold it right there, Mr. Wright. What is this incident that is alluded to in the note? The incident 6 months ago. An incident occurred 6 months ago. And now I am more than ready to show this court what happened at that time. Moron! Wait! Are you sure that it relates to the present case? It does indeed, Your Honor. Everything in this case has its start in what happened 6 months ago. Really, Nick? I think so. Well then, if that's the case, hurry up and tell us about it. What is this conclusive evidence mentioned in the note? I know I'd certainly like to know what it is. If I can't answer that question, the judge is going to think I'm bluffing. The conclusive evidence about the incident 6 months ago is actually... What kind of spicy joke is this, Mr. Phoenix Wright? It isn't a joke at all. It's the decisive evidence you asked for. What do you mean? Recall that the victim was trying to take the wooden box away from him. He was doing so because this piece of decisive evidence is what was inside. Another unbelievable conclusion. Very well, Mr. Wright, so what exactly are you saying? Are you claiming Regina Barry killed someone with a small bottle of pepper? Taking the note into account, that's the only logical conclusion you can draw.
Objection!
Foolish fool who never tires of his own foolish ways. If you're so sure, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then answer this question. Who was Regina Barry's intended victim? Who is this? That is Acro's younger brother.
Objection!
What does this prove? His younger brother isn't dead. Technically, that's true. However, Bat has been in a coma for 6 months now. It's not a stretch to see how Acro could feel that his brother is dead. Regina, she did that to him? Do you spend your entire life dreaming up new ways to be a fool? Naturally, the prosecution has looked into Acro's brother, Sean Dingling. 6 months ago, he was bit by a lion and fell into his current comatose state. Lion? Regina, Miss Regina Barry, is an animal tamer by trade. However, no tamed animal in that position is ever trained to attack another human. They wouldn't understand the command. Moreover, Miss Regina could never do something like that. It's just not in her. So then what happened to Acro's brother? He's not the victim of an attempted murder. He's the victim of an accident. I see. I see. Now what do we do? No one seems to be going along with your theory. Do you think what happened to Bat was actually an accident? It was more than that. The lion biting Bat was no accident at all. What? You're such an amateur, Mr. Phoenix Wright. There's no way that Regina would ever incite her lion to attack another human being. She may not have incited the lion to attack another human being, but Regina is responsible for making the lion bite Acro's brother Bat.
Take that!
That's just a scar. Acro. This scarf is something that Bat used to wear, correct? That's right. And who was the one that gave this scarf to Bat? Regina. Regina gave it to him. Regina. There is something more than just blood on the scarf, Your Honor. And what might that be? Pepper. Pepper? Pepper. Regina gave the scarf to Bat right before the accident. And she covered it with as much pepper as she could. Hey, what's with the silent treatment? Excuse me, Mr. Wright. You've done a good job of fingering a criminal. Pause. But out of curiosity, what was her crime? Miss Berry gave a pepper-covered scarf to Bat as a present. Where's the crime in that? It still seems like the judge just doesn't get it. Mr. Phoenix Wright, wasn't it said that the lion seemed to be smiling? Smiling? The lion was smiling? Right before Bat was bit by the lion. For a moment the lion's mouth changed and it looked like he was smiling. Lions smile? I've never heard of them smiling. However, lions sneeze. What? Leon wasn't trying to bite Bat at all. In reality, all he actually did was sneeze. He sneezed because of all the pepper on the scarf. What? You fool! Was anybody else thinking of Gilbert Godfrey with how she says that in all caps? You've gotta be kidding me!
Objection!
What's the matter, Miss Von Karma? I object. For objection's sake. Mr. Phoenix Wright, this theory, you believe it? You really intend to say that this is how this joke of an accident actually happened? Of course I do. It's the truth. The lion sneezed due to the pepper, and that's when Bat lost consciousness. Afro nearly lost his brother due to this accident, or this joke, as you put it. Which is why he tried to get his revenge against Regina. You foolish idiot! It almost does seem like a terrible joke, doesn't it? Once again, I'm impressed by your imagination, Mr. Wright. To think that there's someone who treats this accident with the respect it deserves. Are you telling me that what I said was true? Acro, you don't mean, you can't mean, witness? Are you confirming the defense's claim? Mr. Wright, unfortunately your imagination is not enough to find me guilty of murder. What do you mean by that? The pepper, the scarf, the lion. I see where you're going, but it's a bit hard to swallow. Not to mention the fact that there's an even bigger problem with your theory. What would that problem be? The same problem it's always been. Evidence. If I dropped Max's bust on top of the Ringmaster, where is the evidence that proves that claim? You know, when you first play it, you might not know what it is. But then when you do play it, or if you were paying attention throughout the whole story, you find out where it actually is. You mean the conclusive evidence? The biggest problem is the murder weapon, or the lack thereof to be more precise. The murder weapon. The boss that the defense claims was used. If that were to be found in Acro's room, and if it was covered with the victim's blood, that would be awfully conclusive in my eyes. Yes, it would be. The bust. Nick, you gotta do something! This is the last step. If I get this one right, the case is won. So, here's the thing. It's not in Acro's room. I will say that much. It might be worthwhile to search Acro's room, but... Why aren't you going to search his room? It looks like you finally figured things out, didn't you? Now you know the true meaning of Von Karma total justice. I guess. I figured with you, that's the least I should expect. You'd leave no stone unturned. A Von Karma never leaves anything to chance. We already searched Acro's room yesterday. What did you find? There's no reason to even say it. If we found what you think we found in that room, Acro would not be here as a witness. But to put a point on it, Max's bust was not in the room. The murder weapon is still unaccounted for. You see, Mr. Wright? The bust wasn't in my room. Furthermore, Detective Gumshoe executed the search by complete surprise. And we took Acro directly to the prosecutor's office after that. End of story. Just wait a second. Something's funny about all of this. It looks like you locked the final nail to put into my coffin. But, what about the scarf? What about the note? What about them, Mr. Wright? No offense, but the only evidence that is relevant here is that which pertains to the death of the ringmaster. You should know that by now. Do something, Nick. Don't let this case slip away. The bus. Where is it now? Where's the bust right now? You're Phoenix, right? You know where that bust is. I'm sure you do. There's not even a single clue. How am I supposed to know where the bust is? It seems this case is coming to a close. The defense's counter-arguments look to have fallen short. Thank you for your support. I'm terribly sorry, Mr. Wright. I think that brings to an end the cross-examination of this witness. Hold it! Where's Max's bust? The defense needs time to prepare to present its case. Sorry, I'm a bit nervous and I just bit my tongue. Huh? What? We need time to do what? Ow! Why are you the most surprised person here? She's your aide, isn't she? Do you really have a case to present, Mr. Wright? What? Are you asking me? The rest is up to you, Nick. Good luck. Hey, wait. You can't be serious. Acrobats always have their lives on the line, don't they? That's how Acros lived his life up until now. Now it's time for us to walk across our own tightrope. If we don't, we're certain to lose. Very well. The defense may proceed. He doesn't have a clue. And I don't think he'll be finding one anytime soon. Walking the tightrope of logic. There's no room for a false step. Sink or swim, the only way through is forward. The murder weapon. Where's Max's bust now? It's somewhere in this courtroom. It's obvious. The bust is inside this very courtroom. It's obviously where? Allow me to pinpoint the location of the bust once and for all. That's where it's at. Acro. I'm sorry to ask this, but do you mind if I take the blanket off your wheelchair? I'm sorry. I didn't quite hear you, Mr. Wright. Well, you are a big guy, and you have a pretty big wheelchair because of it. I just wanted to make sure you weren't hiding anything under that blanket. Because it seems to me that it'd be really easy to say, hide a bust under there. Once again, your penchant for humor hits me where it hurts, Mr. Wright. I think it's pretty amazing that you can laugh in your position. However, your lightheartedness doesn't change the fact that the bust is under there. We all know that you can't leave the lodging house by yourself in your condition. That proved inconvenient when Miss Von Karma happened to search your room yesterday. If she had found a murder weapon in your room, it would have been all over. Which is why you had to hide it. And the only place that you could hide it. Under your wheelchair. Which is why, Acro, I have to ask you again. Would you please remove the blanket from your lap? Well done, Mr. Wright. Masterfully played. You fool! How could you? You guys remember this music? If you guys remember it, it was from the first game. But which case did it appear in? You've got me. I've been bagged by a real pro. Actually, two of them. Two of them? Miss Franziska Von Karma and Mr. Phoenix Wright. What? There's just one thing I'd like to know. How did you know to launch the surprise search of my room last night? There were two pieces of decisive evidence. The cloak and the bust. I burned the cloak in my room and threw the ashes away with the trash. Regina always took my trash out every morning, you know. But the bust... Obviously, I couldn't throw that away. When you executed your search, all I could do was try and hide the bust. And the only place that I could hide it quickly was under this wheelchair. Miss Von Karma, you had things all figured out, didn't you? Didn't you? I was completely sucked in by your calculated strategy. And now to be caught in the middle of court hiding the murder weapon. There's no way I could escape that. So you got me. Well done, Mr. Wright. Well done, Miss Von Karma. It all makes sense now. I can't believe that Von Karma thought that far ahead. It's amazing. Uh-huh. You definitely couldn't tell by looking at her. I know I sure couldn't. I can't believe it. Me! Make a mistake! Why did I order a surprise search of your room? If only I hadn't done that! It seems we finally arrived at the truth. Acro! Yes, Your Honor. Did you kill the ringmaster of the Berry Big Circus, Mr. Russell Berry? Yes, Your Honor. I'm responsible for that crime. Acro. All my brother wanted was for Regina to like him. That's why he'd tease her. One day, my brother sprinkled some pepper on Regina. She started sneezing so hard, you couldn't help yourself from laughing. That's why Regina thought it'd be funny to get him back in the same way. And that's why she covered the scarf with pepper. I know she didn't mean it for anything bad to happen. I know this. She just wanted to make my brother sneeze a few times, too. But I just couldn't forgive her, no matter what. What am I truly guilty of? I'm guilty of never ever being able to understand her. Your brother became a star. Regina believes in that so purely that she would laugh innocently when saying it. Too innocently. I just couldn't stand it, no matter how hard I tried. That's when you decided to do something about Regina. How dreadful. So are you saying that you are a victim in all of this as well? No, that's not what I mean. I'm nothing but a murderer. That's who I am. At first I thought I'd kill myself. Then I pondered giving myself up. But I couldn't just up and leave. I just couldn't. Not yet. That's why I tried to pin this on Max. Max, I'm so sorry. I just couldn't up and leave yet. This has been such a strange case. It's almost a reflection of the case of the circus itself. I'm an idiot! I can't believe it. You beat me again. I believe this case is now beyond any point of possible discussion. Thus, I'd like to declare my verdict. Not guilty. This court is adjourned. December 30th, 4:27 p.m. District Court, Defendant Lobby Number 5. Fabulous! But to be honest, I couldn't really be too happy about this. Acro, the Ringmaster, Regina, and Bat. Not a single one of them was a bad person inside, huh? That's a good question, and one I don't know the answer to. Many congrats, but only at max 1,000,000 of them! Thank you. What's with the vibe in this room? I'm just thinking about Acro. No. If you worry about people too much, then you'll be like this forever and never be happy. Huh? I am not going to try to say that. I think you can understand what's going on here. She's been like this for a while now. It's all my fault! Sweetie pie. Pat and Acro, they're never coming back. Now everyone's gonna split up. Regina, Mr. Wright, tell me something. What do you want to know, Regina? Acro said something right at the end. I just couldn't up and leave yet. Yeah, sorry about that. Does that mean that Acro... Is he gonna try... I don't think so. He's not gonna do that to you, Regina. Are you sure? You're really sure? I can believe that? Yep. Acro doesn't have any desire for revenge anymore. If that's true, then I want to see some evidence. Huh? I want to know you're not just making up that stuff about Acro not wanting revenge.
Take that!
Acro didn't want to get caught for a reason. He wanted to see his brother open his eyes again. Bet. That's right, Regina. He's still alive, you know. I never knew. But now that Acro's been caught... Uh-huh. I know! What? I'll do it. I'll stay next to Bat as long as it takes. Until he opens his eyes. And then until he can meet Acro again. That's so sweet of you, Regina. I'm sorry, Acro. I'm sorry, Bat. Well, hopefully this is enough to give her a little peace of mind. Hey, Max. What is it, Mo? We really put you through a lot, didn't we, buddy? I'm sorry about what happened. So whenever you'd like to leave us, I'll pay your fee and rip up the contract. I understand. What a fabulous thing to do for me. I might even leave tomorrow. What's going to happen to the circus now? Ah, that's the big question. Our ringmaster was really an amazing person, wasn't he? Even though he's not here anymore, everyone is sticking together. The staff, the performers, no one wants to leave the circus. That's why I made a decision. What is it? I've decided that I will take over as the new ringmaster. I'll turn the circus into the best circus this world has ever seen! The best circus the world has ever seen? Don't laugh! That's quite the goal. Yay, I can't wait! Then I guess that changes things. Siri, I wasn't talking to you. Siri just... Okay, I'm just gonna stop saying Siri and just say my phone. Just started doing the whole thing with Siri and all that. And, it thought I was trying to talk to it for some reason, but alright. Huh? There's only one thing the best circus the world has ever seen needs. The world's best illusions. Which means this circus needs the best magician the world has ever seen. Max. Let's work together and make our circus super fabulous. What do you say, big guy? I don't know what to say. All I can say is thank you. Regina, you're gonna help them out too, aren't you? I don't know. Maybe the circus would be better off without me. What are you talking about, Regina? Why do you think that I brought you to court today? Uh, we've got to work together to make the very big circus bigger than it's ever been. No. Most right, sweetie pie. It can't be the very big circus without Regina Berry. Max. Nick! It seems like everything is going to turn out alright here. I can't wait to go see the best circus the world has ever seen. We'll save you to the most fabulous seats. It'll take us a while to get ready, but I'm gonna order special whoopee cushion seats. I see. What made the case? Yesterday's surprise raid. It really paid off just like you said it would, sir. You had it all figured out, didn't you? It was just a theory. If Akira really was the killer, I thought this was the only way it could end. Especially if he was the defense attorney. You mean Mr. Wright? Of course. Well, Detective, my plane is about to leave. As for Mr. Akira's case, you need not worry. I plan to personally stop by the chief prosecutor's office as soon as I get back. Understood, sir. I'll be waiting for you, Mr. Edgeworth. Hey! Edgeworth is back, baby! Trophy earned. Turnabout Big Top. A brand new episode has been added. And there you go. Next time on Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. To give you a bit of a brief rundown. A situation happens in this very first part of the game, in the story, that forces Phoenix Wright to have to take on this case. And in order for him to get a proper resolution, he has to get this case resulted in a not guilty verdict for a certain client. This is probably considered one of the best, if not the absolute best cases of the game. Like, the best case of the game, but perhaps one of the best cases of the whole series, if not the best case ever in said series. This case is going to be a wild roller coaster. You guys have no idea, unless you play this case, you have no idea what is going to happen. But that is for tomorrow night. For now, ladies and gentlemen, let's see, what time is it right now? I might do something before I go to bed. It might take me a few minutes to set up, but either way, I'll probably do something that won't take too terribly long. But either way, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Trilogy. And until next time, which is probably going to happen in a few minutes, but as far as this goes, until next time with this game, this is Forrest Walpole signing off.